Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to be showing you how to cover dark circles today. So I'm going to be using some alcohol activated paints to paint on dark circles. Fortunately, I don't personally have any dark circles as such underneath my eyes, but I know many of you do, so that's why I wanted to do this, to be able to show you how you can cover it. If you stay tuned right to the end, I go into a deeper explanation on how to cover different coloured circles. So I've gone quite severe with this. The reason being is I want to show you that no matter how deep your pigmentation is, it can still be covered. These techniques are also great if you've got a bruise. Now as you can see, it's waterproof, so I can rub it, and this is proof that it's not going to be coming off with the makeup. It's going to still be sitting underneath the makeup. So these are as true to life as real dark circles. There are a variety of products you can use. I'm going to show you a couple. This one is by ILLAMASQUA. It's called Emerge and it's a cream pigment and it's peachy coloured. There's also the MAC Pro Conceal and Correct palette. These come in 4 shades from light to deep dark, and they contain 2 colour correctors, a peachy shade and a yellow, and these differ in shade dependent upon your skin tone, and I'll speak a little bit more about the yellow concealer towards the end of the tutorial. Another one that people have at home they don't realise they can use is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Palette. The coral shade can be mixed with one of the other colours to suit your skin tone. So if you're fair, you can use the lightest shade, and if you're medium, then you can use the middle shade, and if you're dark, you can mix it with a little bit the darker shade. Obviously you only want a tiny bit because you want to keep it very peachy or orangey for deeper skin tones. People with severe dark circles or pigmentation, I always use the Kryolan Dermacolor Creme Camouflage Kit. These are amazing coverage. They can be used to cover birthmarks, tattoos, bruises, under eye circles, everything. When I'm colour correcting, I mostly use the 2 bottom shades, D30 for darker skin tones and DF2 for lighter skin tones. And I'm going to be using the DF2 on myself. If you're paler than me, then you will need something that's slightly lighter but still peachy. You can use any of the products I've already shown you, or you could also consider using the Bobbi Brown Concealer Kit. Comes as a duo and that's good for covering under eye circles. So I'm warming this up on the back of my hand. That's the key thing to do when using this product, as it's very thick. And then using my concealer brush, I'm going to just gently pat and swipe that product underneath the eye. Notice I'm only applying this product to the dark circle. I'm not applying it below, I'm not applying it too far across, just to the area that's darker than the rest of my skin. Remember, you're neutralising the area that's pigmented or discoloured. You don't want to change the colour of the rest of your skin, otherwise your under eye is going to look different to the rest of your skin again. Remember not to use a lot of product under your eyes. Too much will cause creasing, so use a small amount and really work it in, and use your finger to warm the product up on the skin and pat it in. Just this small amount is already covered really well. When concealing under the eyes, another trick is to take a piece of tissue and pull it in half so you've got one ply, and then push that over the top of your concealer very gently, and this is going to soak up any excess oil from the product. It's the oil that warms up in the makeup underneath your eye and then creases, so we want to try and minimise that as much as possible. Then you want to go for it with your choice of foundation. It can be anything, whether you like light coverage, medium coverage or full coverage. But remember, the thicker your foundation, the more coverage you are going to get. I'm using the Bobbi Brown Longwear foundation, and this is a medium coverage, but I only use a small amount and I shear it down with my brush. I'm using my Zoeva 130 Luxe Contour brush to do this, and I'm patting it under the eyes first so the product goes on, but it's not thick. Don't be tempted to apply the foundation directly underneath your eyes, just use what's on the bristles to apply it. Again, the more layers you've got underneath your eyes, the quicker it's going to crease. And remember to use a stipple motion when you're applying your foundation over your under eye concealer, as this is going to prevent you from swiping that makeup away. If, like me, the peachy colour doesn't look too dissimilar to your skin tone, you shouldn't need to apply a concealer over the top of this. It'll only be necessary if you can still see a slight peachy tone, then you'll want to go over it with a concealer that either matches your skin tone or is slightly lighter to give you the brightening effect. Choose your concealer according to the coverage that you want. Some of my favourites are the Cover FX, the Amazing Concealer, the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer and the L'Oreal True Match, which is the one I'm going to use here. Again, I'm applying it with my concealer brush, and this is ever so slightly lighter than my skin tone, so it's going to give a brightening effect. As I said before with the foundation, you want to use a patting motion when applying this over areas that we've already applied makeup. Because we don't want to disturb the makeup that's underneath, we want to be careful with the way we apply it. So a stipple motion and a patting motion with the finger will help to blend it to a flawless finish. The reason I've only done one eye is because I want you to be able to see the comparison of one eye with a dark circle and one without, and then you can see the true results. We're going to go back in with our 1-ply tissue. Remember, it removes the oil or any excess liquid and just leaves behind the pigment. And as you can see, it hasn't disturbed the makeup. The next step is to set everything in place. Again, there are a number of different translucent powders you can use. I think the ultimate one is the Dermacolor fixing powder. That is going to be your best bet at preventing creasing. I'm using a budget one today. I'm using the one by Soap & Glory, and I'm using my Beverly sponge to apply this. We're going to use a patting motion again so as not to disturb the makeup. And we're going to layer this product on so that you can see it sitting on the skin, and we're going to leave it there for a few minutes to set in place. Then we're just going to use a brush to dust off the excess powder, and I'm using the new Zoeva 134 Luxe Powder Fusion brush. You can see my left side now matches my right side and the dark circle is no longer visible. Hey everyone, so I hope you enjoyed the tutorial on covering dark circles. It's a question I get asked by a lot of you, and it's not an easy one to answer because everybody's skin tone is different and everybody's under eye circles are not necessarily the same. You get dark pigment, but you also get purple undertones. Some people have more sallow skin. If you're happy to wear full coverage makeup, then you're pretty safe with peachy undertones to cover most things. If you like light coverage makeup, then you kind of want to use the colour wheel as a bit of a guide, how to colour correct the darkness that is under your eyes. If your eyes are quite purple, then you're better off using something with a yellow undertone to it rather than peachy, because the yellow is going to counteract the purple that's in your eyes. If you're suffering with pigmentation under your eyes or dark circles that are along the sort of browny shades, greyy tones, then the peach is going to be perfect. Whether you're fair or really dark skinned, you're still going to stick with the peachy orangey shades. If you're really fair, then you need something that's quite light but still peachy. And if you're really dark skinned, then anything that's peachy orange should work absolutely fine. There's a lot of videos going around on Instagram of people using red under their eyes. It's not something that I like because I think it still gives off a kind of salmony pink shade to the skin, and that's not what this is about. It's about colour correcting and trying to neutralise your skin to look as much like the rest of your face. I'd also strongly advise that you don't use lipstick around the eyes. I have done this previously, a photo shoot once on myself, and it really burnt my skin. There is a reason why a lot of products say don't use this on other areas. It's not always safe to use elsewhere. So that's not to say that everybody's going to react the way that my skin does. You don't always know what ingredients are in the makeup. Again, if we look at the colour wheel, you can see which colours are complementary to each other. So for instance, the opposite to red is green, so we use green over the red, and that's going to neutralise it. If you've got a blemish on your face and it's really red and it's staying red for the entire day, it's not just temporarily red because you've touched it and it's going to go down. If it's red, then we can go over that with a green concealer, and that's going to neutralise the red tones in it, and then when you go over that with your foundation or your concealer, then you'll be able to cover it and it will match the rest of your skin. Whereas if you just try to go straight in with your foundation over something that's red, it's not going to match the rest of your skin, so we need to neutralise it first in order for it to match the rest of the skin. If you suffer with purple underneath your eyes, then the opposite to purple is a yellow. You can go underneath your eyes with a yellow colour corrector, and that's going to neutralise the purple in it. So then it's safe to go over it with your foundation, and you know it's more likely to match the rest of your skin. If you do go straight in for foundation, you'll often find it looks a little bit ashy underneath, and that's because you've not neutralised the colour. So although it sounds really complicated, it's not too complicated when you look at the colour wheel. It pretty much gives you an idea of what colour you need to use to counteract the blemishes or the under eye circle colours that you've got. If you're a bit unsure of what to use, if you're happy to go with a full coverage foundation or concealer, it's probably going to cover it no matter what shade is underneath. But bear in mind, the more thick the product, the more likely it is to crease under your eyes quicker, and also to make you look a little bit more crepey, so it can often make you look a little bit older. So there is no miracle cure for covering dark circles, but you can definitely cover them to give you a little bit more confidence. So I hope this has helped some people, and it's given you a little bit more insight on how to cover your dark circles or blemishes and how to colour correct in a little bit more detail. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. If you've missed either of my previous tutorials, you can click on these now and it'll take you to those. Don't forget you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and the links to those are in the description bar below. They are all at ShowMe MakeUp. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!